You might be wondering why I'm in my pajamas with extra crazy hair, and that's because I went to bed around midnight and at 1:30 was still awake, so I didn't get any sleep, and it didn't seem worth trying to find real clothes while Glenn was sleeping. So I got up and I've been spinning, 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 and this is where I'm at. This is what would have normally been the full spindle. Actually, just it's slightly over. It's like 67.1. And this little bit here is what I have left. So I'm very excited. I'm near the end. My goal now is to finish spinning this, get changed, work out, take a shower, sleep for a little bit, take a nap, I guess. I'll have to set an alarm, get up, get ready to go to the wedding. It's gonna be not a fun day for me. It just seems like no matter what I do, this is not a normal life. I don't suggest shift work. Look at this, so close. I thought it might be nice to finish spinning the last little bit with you guys here. I started spinning this 8-ish ounces of Corriedale roving on June 22nd when I bought it in Colorado. And I feel like it's just sort of, I don't know, I don't know the right word for it. Just like kind of meant to be. Like here I am finishing spinning the singles on July 22nd. That's just so cool. I wish I could say I was finishing plying, but you know what? It is what it is. And I am quite proud of the fact that I have spun this much in, for me, a short amount of time. Very surprised. I think I am a drop spindle convert. Not that I won't use my spinning wheel, but I don't know what I'll use my spinning wheel for. I mean, I'm sure I will, but I'm sure I'll go through phases where that seems more appealing or there's a technique that I want to do on there. But right now, I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying the ease of picking it up easily, doing a little bit or doing a lot. I also like that this gets me standing because, you know, so many of the crafts I do and probably that you do, such as knitting and spinning, you know, so much of it is just spent sitting. And it's quite nice to, you know, be able to stand. It's definitely better for our bodies, better for our health if we can do it. And I think the more you do it, the more able you are to do it for longer, if that makes sense. Look at this. Just a little tuft left. I found in the very last bits of this fiber, probably the last couple feet, it's really kind of like tangled up, neppy. So the last bit of this fiber isn't as nice as some of it, but I think it'll be good once it gets plied and it blooms. That's it. 8 ounces of singles, all done. I'm so excited. I'm very excited to get this into the plying ball, but I'm gonna let it rest, get a final gram weight, start doing some sampling. I think now I'm going to show you my colorful fiber and talk about how I've been thinking about breaking that down. All right, so here is a reminder of what my colorful fiber looks like. It is Malabrigo Cube. I did steam this. I have 2 braids. I steamed it to help open up the fibers because this is notorious for being very compacted. So I'm hoping that's going to help. I thought about doing a fractal, but a true fractal would have color repeats throughout. And then essentially what you're doing is spinning different thicknesses of the fiber for each repeat so that it creates sort of a self-striping kind of yarn, a marled self-striping. but because there is no rhyme or reason to sort of how this is dyed, and both braids are pretty similar, I think what I'm going to do, instead of worrying about trying to separate my fiber into an exact fractal, because then it would be very difficult to keep which plying ball is which separate, much easier on a wheel with bobbins. Like there's a good example of when you would want to use a wheel. I think I'm just going to break each of these down into strips of fiber, pretty small because I tend to like smaller bits of fiber. And then, I don't know, I probably would just, I don't know if I'll pre-draft it all or not, but here we go, we're doing it. Definitely still feeling that the fibers are a little maybe felted, compacted. I'm not sure how that's going to be for drop spinning, you know? Definitely could be a little more difficult, but that's why I pre-draft. It helps with that. And these things are so long. And we are tangled. I brought this chair over because I don't have anything to set this on. But I'm not sure that it's helping me so much. So ideally, I think I'd like my strips of fiber to be roughly as big as my roving, although I'm thinking, because this is merino, I'm thinking I will need to spin this a bit thicker than I spun the Corriedale, because the Corriedale will bloom, whereas this I don't think will bloom so much. So you can see that's still fairly large. I will definitely break that down at least once more. I'm so excited to start spinning this. I'm just so, look at these colors, like orangey, pink, purples, peach. Peach is literally my favorite color to spin. I particularly like it when the peach is created by spinning a yellow and a pink. I think because maybe my first spinning project had that kind of color palette. There's just something about watching the colors combine, watching it create new colors. I just love that. I'm weird, I know, which is also funny because like peach isn't my favorite color. I love pink, and so I guess it's kind of a derivative of pink, but anyway. I don't have to have a reason, right? I can just like it. My fiber is separating quite strangely. Do you see that? Like this is supposed to be one piece, but it's not really one piece. I'm not sure why it is doing that, but I don't love it. I'll make it work. So that is still fairly thick, but I'm afraid if I were to split that again, that it might be too thin, because you don't want that to happen either. This is feeling pretty soft and pretty nice. There's a little nest. I don't know, this may be too thick. I may end up breaking it down again, but I'm going to split this into pieces and then see where we're at. I would really like to get started, but I cannot wind off those singles yet, so patience. There's the first braid of fiber all broken down into little nests. I weighed them and tried to get them somewhat close, but I ended up anywhere between 5 point something grams and just over 10 grams each. So a wide range, but most of them are between 7 and 9 grams. So I think that'll work out. I'm going to go ahead and split up the second braid, and when I start spinning, I'm just going to pick randomly and not care what end I start at or what braid it's from. That way, hopefully it will be definitely jumbled up. I'm done separating my fiber. That is the first braid, and that is the second braid. And it was very interesting. I definitely enjoyed the first braid a whole lot more. The fiber is separated easier. The colors are nicer. It may be hard to tell how it is now, but the first braid had a lot more of those light colors, really pretty pinks. And this braid had a lot more darker colors, oranges. And of course, you can see a lot of the dark blue or black, whatever that is. So it's going to be even more important, I think, to make sure that I get these mixed up well And based on the weights, if I spin the same amount to my spindle, I could get anywhere from 2 to 5 bumps of fiber on each spindle. So I feel like that will mix it up pretty good. I hope so. I should pre-draft all these, that way I don't have to worry about it, but I don't think I'm going to right now. I am going to weigh this and see how much fiber I actually am starting with. That is one big bowl of fiber. It's kind of hard to see, but 241 grams, or let's see, how many ounces is that? 8.5 ounces. I didn't want to, but I did it. 40 minutes on the bike. I was gonna say I didn't sweat that much, but cutting myself off. I was gonna say I didn't sweat that much, but my fat rolls say otherwise. So it's always good when your fat rolls cry, right? Don't mind the dust. There is 10 flying balls, 227.6 grams, or 8.03 ounces. I am so excited. I am going to do a quick 2-ply and 3-ply sample so I can get those washed and see what happens. I'm still in my very fancy pajamas, but I did take a shower. I am going to start plying a 2-ply sample. I haven't decided how many grams I want to do yet. I don't want to do too much, but I don't want to do too little. Anyway, I'm going to ply these for a 2-ply sample. I have a very high-tech little bucket that I'm going to put the plying balls in. And the main thing I need to remember, because I've been spinning so many singles, is to ply in the opposite direction. So, put those in my bucket. And I do remember somebody asked me a question about plying. I wish now I could remember what the question was because it was quite some time ago. But I will just tell you what I'm doing and hopefully that answers the question. If it doesn't, let me know. But basically you start your plying the exact same way as if you were starting fiber. So you overlap the ends. And like I said, instead of spinning clockwise, I'm now going to be spinning counterclockwise. And that's going to take a little practice. It's also going to take me a little bit to figure out exactly how much twist to put in. Like if it's too much, not enough. I kind of had the method or whatever you want to call it. I had that down pretty well for the singles. I think that's actually pretty darn good. I mean, it's a light and airy yarn. It's going to be light and airy. I can't tell you what the twist angle is. It's so fuzzy anyway. I don't know if you could even see it. But as I said before, I am not the most technical of spinners. I understand a lot of the technical stuff, but especially on a spindle, I cannot bring myself to get too wrapped up into trying to make sure that the twist angle is exactly the same throughout. Does that mean that my yarn won't be perfect? Yes, it does. But I'm not going for perfection. I'm going for yarn. Usable, good enough yarn. My bucket seems to be working okay, although it's probably the 10th ply ball that I made. It's kind of, you see there, it's a little twisty. So that is something to be cognizant of. And I don't know. I obviously this isn't enough, but I'm going to keep spinning and then I think what I'll do to differentiate when I add the third ply, I will tie a knot into this, and then that way when I put it on my nitty knotty, I will be able to know exactly where I started the 3 ply or ended the 2 ply, whatever you want to call it. This is supposed to plump quite a lot when I wash it, allegedly. So I think I might go grab my little wraps per inch card and see, just without washing. I may not even do the 3 ply because ideally my yarns will be somewhere between a fingering and a sport weight. So, I mean, I'm such a fine spinner, that seems very thick for me, but let me grab what did I just call it? Wraps per inch card. All right, now that I'm seeing this, maybe I still will be doing a 3 ply, at least testing it. Let's see, so there it is on the fingering one. If it plumps, I think it'll fall between fingering and sport, but I should probably test the 3 ply just to see. All right, so there is about 3 grams of 2 ply. I think that I'm gonna call that good. It will give me some kind of idea. And then I'm gonna add ball number 5 in, try and tie a knot in this, but I figure a lot of times they say you should take different bobbins, different parts of your spin, however you want to say it, and ply those together. And I wasn't quite sure if I was going to do like 1 and 5, 2 and 6, or if I was going to do like 1 and 10, 2 and 8, 2 and 9, that kind of thing. It's I don't know, maybe it doesn't really matter, I'm not quite sure, but supposedly it's supposed to even out your spinning, because obviously there are going to be inconsistencies. I'm trying to tie a knot, that's what I'm looking at here. Anyway, hopefully that will stay. I just tied an easy little knot, and that will let me know where I start the 3 ply. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, I'm gonna pull this knot out. I think it stayed. I hope it stayed. I should be able to tell, but it's just easier to have some kind of like marker to know where it is. That might need just a little more twist. Again, trying to remember to twist the correct direction. So there's the 2 ply, and then you can see it does get just a little bit thicker. I will put that on my wraps per inch and see the difference. It may or may not be very different at all. I've experienced that with some of my spins, that it makes for a rounder yarn, but not necessarily thicker, which is kind of weird to me. But that is definitely filling up the fingering really well. So if this part does puff up like they say, I'm guessing this will be a sport weight. Oh, so many variables. But I think I will spin or ply about 5 grams of this, because I did 3 grams for the 2 ply. So 5 grams, I don't know, in my head that makes it seem like it should be approximately the same length of yarn, but I don't know. I didn't do the math, and quite frankly, I'm not going to do the math. So, but I really am hoping that it will give me a very rough estimate of what grist would be for a 2 ply and a 3 ply, because that does matter. I cannot get more of this fiber, and I would like my shawl to be a decent size. So if I can only get the grist, which is yards per pound. And you break that down into how much weight of fiber you have, and then you can estimate how many yards you have for how many grams. So if I can only get the grist that I need for the shawl in a 2-ply, even if the 2-ply is a bit thin, I will go for the 2-ply because I don't want to be short on yardage. Yarn chicken is not my favorite thing. I'm finding the 3-ply to be quite a bit more difficult to do. It's really tangling up down here in my little yarn bucket. And it seems like, I don't know, it's not spinning as long or the twist isn't as effective. I don't know, it's very interesting. It's an experiment. I have never ever plied on a drop spindle before. So, Tour De Fleece, I don't know if it's a challenge, excuse me. I don't know if it's a challenge day, but I'm challenging myself. Let's be honest, I haven't really followed the Tour De Fleece guidelines. I've just been kind of doing my own thing. And I think that's okay. Alrighty, I'm gonna finish plying this 5 grams. I will let this rest on here. And then I'm gonna try and grab like a 2-hour nap before I have to get up and make myself look presentable. There it is. My sample is complete. I will line this off on my Nitty Naughty later and wash it, dry it, and figure out what we're gonna do from there. Who the heck is this? I never dress up. This is very, very, very outside my comfort zone. I'm wearing earrings, which doesn't normally happen, and a dress, and a smidge of makeup. None of that normally happens. Anyway, we are ready for the wedding. So, I mean, I might look presentable now, but in a 2-hour car ride, I'm not sure. And in the 90+ degree heat, it's not going to matter what I put on my face. I'm going to be a mess anyways.